So in this video, we will look at the question number 1, the A and B question, because we did look at how can we using the ForecastX to help us to developing the ACF chart and PACF chart, and also how can we based on the chart identify the how many AR term and MA term we needed for our ARIMA models. Okay, so first of all, the data we are handling here is assuming it is a quarterly time series data. Okay, and now let's go look at the Excel sheet together. So the question number 1 is in the first tab. And so as you notice that in this time series data, we don't actually have the column called the dates. So therefore, when you set up ForecastX, you have to be very careful. Okay, so let's select the column A first, from A1 to A101. So after we do that, we were gonna click the Add In tab, and then we will click Forecast. So after you do that, since as I said, we don't have the column called the date, so you actually need to do some setup in the data capture tab before you can move on. So in the data capture tab, make sure first you need to click the columns, because all the data we have here is in column, not in rows. Okay, and the second, we need to adjust the labels here to 1, because the first row here is not data, right? It's A, so that means it's a label. So we need to let the computer know the first row is label. And third, as we read the question here, the periodicity of this data is quarterly, so we need to set this up as quarterly. Okay, so after you do that, let's go on to the forecast method tab. So first, in order to developing the ACF, PACF diagram, make sure for this whole chapter, we will use the model called box Jenkins. So let's find the box Jenkins, right? So we will choose the box Jenkins model. Okay, and second, we are going to the tab called Analyze. So this will give us the value for the ACF and PACF diagram. Okay, so by default, the ACF and the PACF diagram only show us the 12 periods. So therefore, we only have 12 bars. So like this question, oops, we are asked for, let's say, 24 bars. How can we do it? So in order to demonstrate 24 bars, what we need to do is increasing the number of the bars to 24. So after you do this, it will not automatically update the chart. So you need to click OK and come back again. Okay. So now after I update here to 24, I click OK. And then I will click the Analyze again. So now the diagram we see, the ACF and PACF diagram will have 24 bars. So depends on the question, how many period they are looking for, and then you need to adjust the number of the bar accordingly. Now let's look at these two diagrams. Okay, the diagram on the top, ACF, is informing us how many MA term we needed based on how many spike we see. So under the 24 bars, we see three obvious spike. So 1, 2, 3. So maybe we need to consider MA3. Do we need AR terms? So the AR term is required as well. So the AR term is demonstrating in our PACF diagram. So in the PACF diagram, we see 2 spikes, right? 2 spikes. So therefore, we are considering use AR2. So basically for this time series, it's not solely about MA term or AR term. So the ideal situation we're looking at is ARIMA, right? So the AR term is 2, but we don't see any seasonality. So the data is stationary because our ACF diagram is dying down very quickly, right? So if the ACF diagram dying down very quickly because we only have 1 bar is outside 95% confidence interval. For the rest of the bar, they are all within the 95% confidence interval. That means the rest of the bar are not statistically significantly different from 0. So we only have 1 bar is. So therefore, the ACF diagram showing they are quickly dying down. So we don't have trend. So therefore, for the integrated part is equal to 0. And then for the MA part is equal to 3. So this might be the best model we are looking for based on the diagnostic for, using ACF, PACF. So later in the next video, we're going to actually using the ForecastX to help us to pick the best ARIMA model. So maybe you'll be able to see the changes of the value within the parentheses. It might be reduced. So for instance, it might become 202 instead of 203 because the model might be overfitted. So we will see what's the best model the ForecastX will pick for us in the next video. So in this video, like I said, we just need to focus on how can we get in the ACF and the PACF diagram, and also how can we set up the right frequencies, like how many period of the ACF and PACF value we needed by changing the number of the bars here. Okay, so I will see you in next video.